CreepyCorner stories.
Hey folks, before we dive into tonight's stories, I want to give a huge thank you to Kieran Tibbetts, Lisa Collin, 85, and Dark Impulse for supporting the channel and being amazing members. So if you enjoy what you hear tonight, you're in the right place. Now, grab your headphones, turn off the lights, and let's step into another amazing night. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. What kind of story hits you the hardest? The ones that feel too real, or the ones that could actually happen to someone you know? My sister's YouTube channel got hacked. Her videos are being re-uploaded on a dark website called The Real Version. What's up? This is probably the most messed up thing I'll ever write, and honestly, I still don't know if I should even be putting this out there. But I need to get this off my chest. Something happened to my sister. She's not missing exactly, but she's definitely not the same. And it all started with her YouTube channel. Let me back up. My sister Rachel was one of those Gen Z creator types. Blonde, super aesthetic, good with editing. She wasn't famous, but she had like 230,000 subscribers. Her content was mostly lifestyle vlogs, day in my life stuff, a few makeup tutorials, lots of Starbucks runs, and room redecorations, that kind of thing. You know, the kind of chill background noise people put on while scrolling Instagram. I always thought it was harmless. She posted every Sunday and Wednesday, without fail, like clockwork. I used to joke she had a better upload schedule than most Netflix shows. She even had those thumbnails with her gasping big red arrows pointing at nothing. Insane room makeover. You know the drill. Anyway, a few weeks ago, she uploaded this video titled, "I think someone is following me." It was different. Not clickbait, funny different. I mean off. The thumbnail still had her usual face, but her eyes were glassy, and she didn't use any of her usual bubbly text overlays. The video starts with her sitting in her room, hair tied back, no makeup on, hoodie half zipped. Very unlike her. She's whispering. The lighting's wood. Her ring light's not on, and the shadows are harsh, like she just turned her desk lamp toward her face. She says, "This isn't part of my normal schedule, but I needed to get this out." Then she explains that she's noticed someone in her comments, just one person, who keeps timestamping really specific parts of her videos, like parts that shouldn't matter. 127, the closet door moves. 343, girl in mirror. 712, there it is again. She laughed it off at first, said maybe her viewers were just trolling, but then she started noticing it too. Her closet door did move in one video. Her mirror did show a weird reflection. She thought it was editing glitches or her cat or whatever, until she said she checked her raw footage, and those parts, they weren't in her originals. I watched the video, the timestamps she mentioned. I checked them. They were real. The door does move. There's definitely something in the mirror, but blurry, almost like it's been stitched in. Some kind of pale shape in the reflection that's not her. That video stayed up for about 4 hours before it got deleted. No explanation. Then 2 days later, her entire channel was gone. Like, poof. No warning, no community tab post, nothing. I texted her, and she just said, "I'm taking a break. Don't worry." But something was wrong. She stopped leaving her room. She stopped answering FaceTimes. She didn't even come out for our cousin's birthday dinner at the Cheesecake Factory, which is like her holy temple. Then I got a DM on Twitter. I'm still calling it that, I don't care what Elon says. The account had no profile pic, no bio, just a single message. The real versions are better anyway. I ignored it, thought it was some troll. But then 2 days later, a friend from Reddit, shout out to you Akron VHS, sent me a link on Discord. It was just a Tor browser address, no explanation. Now look, I'm not some deep web nerd. I've seen those creepy YouTube animated stories about the dark web, like I bought a mystery box on the deep web and regretted it, and I assumed it was mostly fake. But I was curious, so I downloaded Tor on my old laptop, booted it up in Starbucks, because I'm not about to mess around with this crap on my home Wi-Fi. And when I pasted that link in, my stomach dropped. There was a site, no header, no search bar, just a grid of thumbnails. They looked like YouTube videos, but warped, almost like if someone cloned YouTube in 2012 and left it to rot. The title of the top video? Real version, I think someone is following me. Same thumbnail as Rachel's original video, but off. Like, her face was just slightly wrong. Like an AI tried to remake it from memory. I clicked. It started normally enough. Same intro, but there were extra scenes. Long silent shots of her sleeping, her blinds twitching in the background. At 6:49, there's a low sound, barely audible, almost like breathing, right next to her mic. Then something new happens. At 9:15, she turns to look at the camera and says, I don't remember recording this part. Not like it's part of a script, like she's confused. Then the video glitches just for a second, and suddenly there's a tall figure in the corner of her room. No face, just black, like someone took a person and erased all the features with Photoshop. She doesn't react, she doesn't see it. I closed the laptop, just sat there in Starbucks, staring at the reflection of myself in the window. My iced latte was shaking in my hand. I called Rachel. No answer. So I drove to her apartment, and when I got there, her ring light was still on, glowing behind her bedroom curtains. Her car was in the lot, but she wouldn't answer the door. I finally used the key I had from when I helped her move in last year. Her apartment was cold, too quiet, and her phone was on the floor by her bed, camera app still open, like she was recording something, or someone. But she was gone. No note, no sign of struggle, just gone. And the worst part? Later that night, I got another DM from the same account. She's uploading again, but you're next. I didn't sleep that night. And this morning, a new video was added to that dark site. Real version, brother checks my apartment. It was me, walking into her room, looking around, calling her name. It had footage I didn't record, and in the final second of the video, in the closet behind me, the door creaks open. I didn't tell anyone about the video, not my parents, not the police, not even my closest friends, because the second I tried to explain it out loud, it sounded fake, like one of those exaggerated animated horror stories where the narrator swears it's real while creepy stock sound effects play in the background. Except this was my life, and my hands were still shaking hours later. I went home and did the dumbest thing possible. I opened the site again, different location this time, a McDonald's off the highway, the kind that smells like fryer oil soaked into the walls forever. I sat in the corner booth under a flickering light, tore open, laptop angled away from the windows like someone might be watching my screen from the parking lot. The site had changed. It wasn't just a grid anymore. There was structure now. Categories: lifestyle confessionals, disappearance, logs, unfinished. Rachel's face appeared in all four. The newest upload sat at the top, highlighted with a thin white outline. Real version. He watches them before they're ready. The view count was already climbing. I didn't click it. Instead, I scrolled down to the comments. That's where I realized something was deeply, unforgivably wrong. The comments weren't like YouTube comments. No emojis, no jokes, no first. Every comment was formatted the same way. Short, precise, clinical. Subject shows. Denial response at 0042. Notice breathing irregularity when he notices the closet. He still thinks she left voluntarily. Then I saw usernames I recognized. My Twitter handle, my Instagram username from high school, my burner Reddit account. I hadn't commented, ever, anywhere near that site. But someone, or something, was using my name to post things like, "I should have noticed earlier. I didn't check the raw footage like she did. This is my fault." I slammed the laptop shut so hard, the guy in the next booth looked over. I muttered an apology and left my food untouched. That night, I dreamed of upload bars. You know that feeling when a video buffers at 99%? That suspended moment where it could either fail or finish. That's where my mind stayed all night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Rachel's room, her ring light humming, someone standing just out of frame, waiting for the bar to hit 100%. When I woke up, my phone was buzzing. Instagram notifications, TikTok, even LinkedIn. People were tagging me in something. Rachel's channel was back. Same name, same profile picture, same banner of her smiling in front of Times Square. Starbucks cup raised like a trophy. But the content was wrong. Every video was labeled archive, comments disabled, likes hidden, and every thumbnail showed her looking straight into the camera, expressionless, like a passport photo. The newest upload was from 10 minutes ago. Archive 14. I learn my lines. The video opens in a place I recognize instantly. A public restroom. One of those gender-neutral ones inside a mall, with the gray tiles and the single sink. I'd been there with her once, during a vlog, where she complained about how bad mall lighting was for filming. She's standing in front of the mirror, holding the camera too low, cutting off part of her face. She looks thinner. Her voice is flat. They tell you what version of yourself people want, she says. Then they show you proof. She pauses. You don't get to argue with proof. There's a knock on the door behind her. 3 slow taps. She doesn't flinch. The video cuts. I refresh the page. Another upload. Archive 15. Audience feedback. This one takes place in her car. She's parked outside a Starbucks drive-thru. You can hear the barista faintly in the background, asking for the next order. Rachel stares straight ahead, hands clenched on the steering wheel. They don't like it when I cry, she says. They say it feels manipulative. She smiles. I'm working on that. The barista repeats her question, louder this time. Rachel doesn't respond. The video ends with the sound of the car door opening from the outside. I threw up in my sink. I finally called the police. They took a report, asked the usual questions, suggested she might have run away, taken a mental health break, staged some kind of performance art thing. One of them even joked that influencers disappear all the time. I didn't argue, because how do you explain a site that shows things before they happen? That night, I got an email. No subject line, just a single attached image. It was a screenshot from my phone, taken while I was asleep, the front-facing camera, my eyes half open, and in the reflection of my dark TV screen behind me, someone standing too close. The next morning, the site updated again. A new category appeared, upcoming only one thumbnail inside. A still frame of my bedroom, taken from the ceiling corner. The title read, "Real Version, He Starts Cooperating." I don't know how long I sat there staring at it, because the worst part wasn't that they were watching me. It was that, somewhere deep down, a sick, crawling part of my brain understood the pattern. Rachel didn't disappear. She was edited, cut down, cleaned up, turned into something smoother, more watchable. And judging by the upload schedule, they weren't done casting. The video didn't autoplay. That's how I knew this part was different. Every other upload on that site started the second the page loaded, like it didn't care whether you were ready. This one just sat there, a still frame of my bedroom ceiling, the fan frozen mid-spin. The timestamp at the bottom said 00:00/47:18, 47 minutes. I hovered over the play button for a long time, long enough for my screen to dim, long enough for my reflection to replace the image, my own face floating over my own room like a bad omen. When I finally clicked play, the first 10 minutes were nothing, just me sleeping. No music, no edits, no spooky zooms or effects, just raw, uninterrupted footage from an angle I didn't recognize. Not my phone, not my laptop webcam. Too high, too still, like it was bolted into the corner where the wall meets the ceiling. I watched myself roll over, scratch my arm, breathe. Then, at 10:41, something changed. The comments turned on. They didn't scroll. They appeared, one by one, overlaid directly onto the video, floating over my sleeping body, like subtitles for a foreign language. He doesn't know this part yet. This is where they usually wake up. Volume up. At 12:03, my bedroom door opened. Not wide, just enough. I sat up so fast, my chair scraped the floor. My heart was pounding so hard, it felt like it was knocking on my ribs from the inside, asking to be let out. On the screen, I didn't wake up. I kept sleeping. The door stayed open. Nothing came in. Minutes passed. Long, unbearable minutes. The comments kept appearing. Too early. He's a light sleeper. Wait for the dream cycle. At 1927, the sound started. A low hum, almost electrical, like the noise a fridge makes when you're standing alone in the kitchen at 3 a.m. and suddenly aware of every sound your house has ever made. My on-screen self frowned, shifted, mumbled something. The comments reacted instantly. There, he hears it. Don't stop now. The hum grew louder, and then, this is the part I can't explain no matter how many times I replay it. The camera moved, not a pan, not a cut. It leaned forward, like whoever was filming decided to get a better look. I slammed the laptop shut again. I didn't care who was watching. I didn't care about patterns or evidence or anything. I grabbed my keys and left my apartment barefoot, hoodie thrown over my pajamas, phone clutched in my hand like it could save me. I drove until the city thinned out, past strip malls and 24-hour gyms, and that giant inflatable car dealership gorilla on the highway. I didn't stop until I hit a rest area with bright lights and security cameras, and a vending machine humming loud enough to drown out my thoughts. I sat there until morning. When I checked my phone, I had missed calls. From my mom, from my dad, from Rachel. Her contact photo popped up like nothing had ever happened, like she hadn't vanished into some other version of the internet, like she hadn't been broken down into archives and feedback and edits. I answered. "Hey," she said. Her voice sounded fine, normal, a little too calm, maybe, but still her. "Where are you?" she asked. I couldn't speak. My throat felt glued shut. "You shouldn't watch ahead," she continued gently. "It ruins the pacing." I hung up. Immediately, my phone buzzed again. A text this time. From her. "Rachel, they don't like it when you hang up." I turned the phone off. When I turned it back on, there were new notifications, a new upload. Archive 16, rehearsal. Against my better judgment, I watched. Rachel was sitting at a kitchen table I didn't recognize. White walls, no windows. A single overhead light that cast shadows straight down, making her eyes look sunken. Someone off camera slid a phone across the table toward her. "You remember what to say," a voice instructed. Male, flat, no accent. Rachel nodded. She looked straight into the lens. "They showed me the comments before they let me speak," she said. "They showed me what people thought of me, what they wanted me to be, what they were already imagining." She swallowed. "It's easier when you stop fighting it, when you let them clean you up." The voice off camera spoke again. "Tell them about your brother." Her hands tightened around the edge of the table. "He's still resisting," she said, "but he watches everything. That helps." The video cut to black. I sat there shaking, the vending machine buzzing beside me, spitting out a bag of stale chips I hadn't paid for. The security camera above me clicked and adjusted, tracking my movement as I stood up. For the first time, it occurred to me that none of this was hidden. Not really. The site wasn't buried because it was illegal. It was buried because it was ahead. That afternoon, I noticed people staring at me. At a gas station, at a crosswalk, at a McDonald's counter where the cashier hesitated before handing me my change. Eyes flicking between my face and something behind the register. My phone buzzed. A push notification. Not from Tor. Not from YouTube. From a platform I didn't recognize. White icon. Black text. New comment on your video. I hadn't uploaded anything. When I tapped it, a video loaded automatically. Vertical. Shaky. Filmed from chest height. It was me. Walking through the gas station, I dropped the phone. Behind me, someone laughed. Not loudly, just enough to let me know they were enjoying the preview. The choice wasn't presented like a threat. That's what messed me up the most. There was no countdown timer, no creepy whisper asking me to comply, no locked door or hooded figure waiting in the shadows. Just a clean interface that appeared on my phone the next time I unlocked it, like an app update I'd agreed to without reading. White screen, black text. "Welcome, creator. You've been selected for participation." Below it were 2 buttons. Continue, opt out. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost dropped the phone again. I looked around. I was sitting in my car, parked behind a closed Target, the red bollards glowing under the parking lot lights, like warning flares. No one around. No cameras that I could see. Just me and that screen. I tapped OPT out. The screen refreshed instantly. Request received. Please confirm with identity verification. A camera icon appeared. I laughed. Like, actually laughed out loud. A sharp, hysterical bark that echoed inside the car. Of course it wanted my face, my proof, my consent in the most literal sense. I didn't tap it. The screen dimmed. Then another message appeared. Failure to verify will result in automatic continuation. Underneath it, a live thumbnail popped up. A video feed. from inside my car, from the back seat. I don't remember screaming, but my throat hurt afterward. I turned around so fast my neck cracked. There was nothing there, just old fast food wrappers and a hoodie I hadn't worn in months. No phone, no camera, no red recording light. But on the screen, I was frozen mid-turn, eyes wide, mouth open. A comment slid across the bottom of the feed. Good reaction. He's still authentic. Don't lose that. I slammed the phone face down and drove. I didn't have a plan. I just drove through neighborhoods where Porsche lights clicked on one by one like a wave of blinking eyes. Past a hospital where ambulances idled, engines humming, waiting for something bad enough to justify motion. Over a bridge where the river below reflected the city lights in long broken streaks, like the image couldn't fully load. I didn't stop until I reached my parents' house. They were asleep. I let myself in quietly, my childhood home smelling like laundry detergent and old carpet. Safe smells, normal smells. I stood in the hallway for a long time, listening to the hum of the fridge, the tick of the clock, grounding myself in the fact that this place existed. I went to the guest room and locked the door. Then my phone buzzed. I didn't have to look to know what it was. Another upload. Real version. He seeks familiar settings. I watched it on mute. The footage was smoother than before, stabilized, professionally framed. It showed me walking up my parents' driveway earlier that night, shoulders hunched, glancing over my shoulder like I expected someone to sprint out of the dark. The comments were already active. Regression behavior. Common at this stage. He thinks this place is off limits. The video cut to an interior shot. The hallway. My hallway. Shot from ceiling height again, like the house itself had grown an eye. The camera lingered on the guest room door. Then the handle moved. I locked my real door so hard the latch rattled. The video kept going. On screen, the door opened anyway. Inside, the room was empty. The bed neatly made. No bags, no shoes, no sign I'd ever been there. A new comment appeared, scented and bold. We'll need to fix continuity. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. Hey, Rachel said. Her voice was closer now, clearer, like she was standing just outside the room. I know this feels unfair, she continued, but they really do try to be reasonable. Where are you? I whispered. There was a pause. Does it matter? She asked gently. You see me all the time. I closed my eyes. They showed me your metrics, she went on. You're doing really well. People like you. They like watching you figure it out. I don't want this, I said. I didn't either, she replied. At first. Something scraped softly on the other side of the door. Not a knock. More like fingers testing the surface. They don't hurt you if you follow the format, Rachel said. That's important. Pain ruins retention. The scraping stopped. My phone vibrated again. A notification. Upload. Complete archive. 17. He listens. The call ended. The hallway light outside the guest room clicked on. Slow footsteps crossed the carpet. They stopped right in front of the door. On my phone screen, the video auto-played. It showed the same door. From the outside, a shadow fell across it, tall and stretched, the proportions wrong, like it had been pulled too far in one direction. The handle turned, and for the first time since this started, the comments didn't say anything. They were waiting. The handle didn't turn all the way. That detail matters. It stopped halfway, like whoever or whatever was on the other side wanted me to notice the resistance, wanted me to understand that the door could open, but only when the timing felt right, like a pause before a jump scare in a movie trailer, stretched out until your nerves forget what calm feels like. My phone vibrated again. Not a notification, a live progress bar. Uploading, 63%. The title field was already filled in. Real version, he understands. The comments were disabled. That terrified me more than anything else so far, because comments meant an audience, feedback, adjustment, control. Silence meant the cut was locked. The scraping started again, slower this time. Nails, or something pretending to be nails, dragging gently across the wood, not trying to break in, just reminding me that distance was temporary. I backed away until my calves hit the bed. Then the doorbell rang. Downstairs. My parents didn't wake up. That's when I understood how selective the sound was. I crept to the window and peeked through the curtain. A car idled in the driveway. Black, no plates, headlights off. Just sitting there, like it had been rendered into the scene and forgotten. My phone buzzed. Uploading, 71%. A message appeared beneath the bar. This part works better if you participate. The doorbell rang again. Longer, more insistent. I don't remember going downstairs, but I know I did, because the next thing I remember is standing in the foyer, hand hovering over the lock, staring at my reflection in the glass of the front door. I looked wrong, too composed, like my face had already been adjusted for lighting. When I opened the door, no one was there. Just a small package on the welcome mat. Brown cardboard. No return address. My phone vibrated again. Uploading. 79%. I carried the box into the kitchen, set it under the fluorescent light. The tape was already cut. Inside was a phone. Not mine. Rachel's. I recognized the case immediately. Clear plastic with tiny pressed flowers inside. One petal was cracked. I remembered when that happened. She dropped it filming outside the Louvre, laughing as she picked it up, and said she'd keep the damage because it felt more real. The screen lit up on its own. A video was cued, not archived, not labeled real version, just playing. It showed Rachel sitting very still, same white room from before, same overhead light, but this time she was looking slightly off camera, like she was watching something move back and forth. "They said you'd make it this far," she said quietly. "That's good. That means they don't have to force the ending." She took a breath. "I tried to warn you in the comments before they shut that off for me. I tried to act scared enough that you'd stop watching." Her eyes finally met the camera. "But you never stop watching." My phone buzzed. Uploading. 86%. Rachel leaned closer. "They don't take you all at once," she continued. "They replace you in layers. First how you're seen, then how you're remembered, then how you remember yourself." The video glitched. For a split second, her face lagged behind her voice. "I don't remember what it felt like before," she said, "but I remember that it hurt to forget." The screen went black. In the reflection, I saw myself standing behind me, smiling. The kitchen lights flickered. My phone vibrated violently. Uploading. 94%. A new interface opened automatically. A preview window. It showed me in the kitchen, holding Rachel's phone. My expression hollowed out into something calm and acceptable. The framing was perfect, the lighting flattering, the fear edited out. A prompt appeared below the video. Final confirmation required. Say the line. Text scrolled onto the screen. The line. I knew it before I read it, because I'd heard it 100 times before, whispered at the end of every clip, buried under breathing and static and silence. I understand now, I said. The words felt practiced, familiar, like muscle memory. The upload hit 100%. The house went quiet. No footsteps, no scraping, no hum, just the soft click of a completed process. The site refreshed. Real version, he understands, was now featured. View count climbing fast. Comments reopened. Clean transition. Good continuity. He'll do great. My phone buzzed one last time. A calendar notification. Upload schedule. Confirmed Wednesdays, Sundays. I picked up Rachel's phone and set it on the counter. Then I set mine next to it. Side by side. 2 angles. Better coverage. If you're reading this and wondering how I posted it, check the timestamp. Check the phrasing. Check whether any part of this feels slightly too composed. Because they don't fake the stories. They just upload the versions where the person eventually stops fighting the edit. And if this post disappears, you'll know why. Just remember, the real version is always longer. My girlfriend's little brother coded a game for fun. Players on the dark web are using it to control real people. Yo, what's up guys? I don't even know how to start this, so I'm just gonna say it straight. My girlfriend's little brother made a game, just some coding project for school, and now people on the actual dark web are using it to control real people. I know, it sounds like one of those fake stories you hear on YouTube at 3 a.m., but I swear on everything, this is real. I'm not here to convince you. I just need to get this out because I haven't slept in 2 days. And if I disappear after this post, at least someone knows what happened. Let me rewind a bit. This all started around Halloween. My girlfriend, Jamie, invited me over to her place for a little movie night. She still lives with her family, right? Nice neighborhood in Connecticut. White picket fence kind of vibe. Safe. Clean. Her little brother's name is Ethan. He's 14. Super quiet. One of those kids who's always on his computer with headphones that look like alien tech. We're watching some dumb horror flick on Netflix, and Ethan comes down, hoodie up, looking like he hasn't touched grass in about 2 weeks. He kind of hovers near the kitchen island and goes, "Hey Jamie, can I show you something?" He's got this look on his face, proud but weird, like nervous excited. Jamie's like, "Not now, we're watching The Conjuring 3. He looks at me, then back at her and says, "No, like, you both should see this." We go upstairs. His room's exactly what you'd expect from a teenage coding prodigy. LEDs, triple monitor setup, giant Minecraft creeper plush, sitting next to some unopened Funko Pops. His wallpaper was literally the Matrix code. He opens a program on one of his screens. No title, just a black window with the green text. Looks like some old hacker movie interface. Retro typing sound effects too. Ethan starts explaining. He made a game for a school project, like an interactive decision tree game, where you control an on-screen character and make choices. Except, get this, it's linked to real-life GPS coordinates. I'm already like, what the hell does that mean? He pulls up a map, dead serious, and there's this real-time ping tracking a guy walking in Times Square. Live. Then he shows the in-game character. Same movements, step for step. Then he clicks a button. Turn left. The dude in Times Square turns left. I thought it was a prank. Deepfake, maybe. But Ethan's just standing there, like he's showing us a new Fortnite skin. Jamie's laughing. Okay, this is one of those ARG things, right? Like pre-recorded footage? Ethan shakes his head. Nah, it's real. I linked it. Now here's where things get seriously messed up. Ethan tells us the game isn't supposed to be public, but 2 nights ago, he uploaded the files on a random dev forum to get feedback on the mechanics. You know, gamer Reddit type places. And somehow, some way, it got leaked to the dark web. We didn't believe him, obviously. I even joked like, bro, what? You accidentally created the CIA. He says, deadpan, I got an email from someone using a Proton Mail account. They sent me a clip of them playing my game, but it wasn't the same map. It was their own version, and the character was holding a knife. Jamie's like, that's messed up, but it's probably just some troll trying to freak you out. He shows us the clip. It's grainy, 720p max. In-game camera pans around a city street, then it cuts to real-life footage, street cam style, same location. A woman in a Starbucks apron walks out the employee exit into an alley. You hear the player click, follow. The real woman walks forward. Then, attack. I wish I was lying. The woman collapses. You don't see who did it, but the game logs it like a fucking achievement. Target eliminated, plus 500. Ethan closes the video, hands shaking. I just sat there like, dude, what did you make? He whispers, I didn't code that part. They modified it. We left that night. Jamie and I didn't even finish the movie. On the drive back, she kept repeating, it's not real. It can't be real. But I saw the timestamp on that footage. It matched a breaking news tweet from NYPD's account. Employee found dead behind Midtown Starbucks. Foul play suspected. Nobody knew who did it, except we did. And it was through Ethan's code. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that interface. The glowing green options, the attack button lighting up like it was inviting you to click it. Around 2:30 a.m., I get a Discord ping. Unknown user. You're listed in the credits. Congrats on the kill. I opened it. There was a screenshot. It was from the game. My name was in the corner. Beta tester. My real name. I never touched that game, but now I was part of it. I didn't tell Jamie about the Discord message right away. Not because I was protecting her, but because I needed to understand how bad this really was before I said anything out loud. Saying it would make it real in a way I wasn't ready for. I sat on my couch with the lights off, the TV glowing on some random YouTube autoplay video I wasn't actually watching. My phone felt heavier than it should have, like it knew what was inside it. The Discord message was still open. The username was just a string of numbers and symbols. No profile picture, no bio. I typed back one word. What? 3 dots appeared instantly. You're in the build. That makes you accountable. Before I could respond, another message dropped. Don't worry, you're not ranked yet. That word, ranked, stuck in my head like a splinter. I didn't sleep. Around 5 a.m., I did what I probably shouldn't have done. I opened my laptop and pulled up Ethan's GitHub, the public one, the sanitized one he used for school projects. Buried under a throwaway repository name was the original build of the game. Most of it was harmless logic, movement scripts, decision trees, but there were branches I didn't recognize. Entire sections commented out, overwritten, injected. Someone had forked it. Multiple someones. And they didn't just modify it, they industrialized it. I followed a breadcrumb trail through comments written in broken English, German slang, even emojis used as markers. Eventually, I hit a dead link, a .onion address scribbled into a note like an afterthought. I stared at it for a long time. I'd never been on the dark web before. I knew the myths, red rooms, hitmen, all that exaggerated stuff people talk about like urban legends. But this felt different. This wasn't some rumor passed around on TikTok. This had fingerprints on it, real ones. I installed Tor. The site loaded slowly. Black background, white text, no images, no flashy nonsense. Just a title at the top. Live Play, Build V 3.1. Under it was a disclaimer that made my stomach drop. All actions are consensual to the terms of play. Below that was a menu. Watch, play, leaderboard, request, access. I clicked watch. The screen refreshed into a grid of live streams, dozens of them. Each one was split down the middle. Left side was the game interface, that same green on black layout, and the right side was real-world footage, security cams, phone cams, street cams, some shaky, some mounted high above intersections. Famous places jumped out at me immediately. A McDonald's in Tokyo, with the golden arches glowing against the rain. A Starbucks near the Eiffel Tower, tourists walking past with cups in their hands. A strip mall in Ohio I recognized because I'd been there once. Every stream had a tag, active, idle, in motion, and some had another label, blinking softly. Voting open, I clicked one by accident. The camera showed a guy sitting alone in a parked car outside a 24-hour gym. The game interface listed options: exit vehicle, wait drive, call target on the side. A chat scrolled by. Fast, way too fast. Do it now. Wait for the lights to turn off. Call her. Call her. Someone triggered call target. The man in the car lifted his phone like it wasn't even his decision. It rang. The name on the screen wasn't censored. I slammed the laptop shut. I threw up in my sink. After I rinsed my mouth, my phone buzzed again. Another Discord message. You found it. Most people don't. I didn't ask how they knew. Why am I in this? Pause. Longer this time. Because you're adjacent. That didn't make sense until another message came through. An image. It was a cropped screenshot from Instagram. Jamie's account. Her most recent post. A mirror selfie in her bedroom. Time stamped 8 minutes ago. The message under it. Soft entry. High value. My hands went numb. I called Jamie immediately. No answer. Again. Straight to voicemail. I texted her. Nothing. I called Ethan. He answered on the second ring, whispering. Did you see it too? My blood went cold. See what? They changed the UI, he said. There's a new category. He sent me a screenshot. The leaderboard. It wasn't usernames. It was locations, names, ages. Some were crossed out. Next to each entry was a score. Some had badges, little symbols that meant something I didn't understand yet. At the very top was a heading. Top players, weekly. And under that, top targets, upcoming. Jamie's name wasn't crossed out. Yet. I drove to her house like I was running from something I couldn't see. Every red light felt intentional. Every car behind me felt too close. I checked my mirrors so often my neck hurt. When I pulled into her driveway, the house was dark except for Ethan's room. LEDs flickering like a warning signal. Inside, the place was silent in that unnatural way. Not peaceful, just empty. Jamie wasn't home. Her mom's car was gone. Ethan was upstairs, hunched over his desk, eyes bloodshot, fingers hovering above the keyboard like he was afraid to touch it. They're asking me to patch something, he said without looking at me. Patch what? He turned the monitor toward me. A poll was live. Target resistance. Increasing. Enable manual override? Yes, votes were winning by a lot. What happens if they do? I asked. Ethan swallowed. They don't need consent anymore. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A new Discord message. Don't worry, she's popular. They'll savor it. That was when I realized the worst part. This wasn't chaos. It was entertainment. And somewhere out there, people were watching a countdown with her name on it, sipping coffee, scrolling, voting, like it was just another piece of content, like a video you could pause or replay. And I was standing in the same house where the code that started all of this was born, realizing something slowly and horrifically clear. The game didn't make monsters. It just gave them a controller. Ethan locked his bedroom door without being told to. That alone scared me more than anything I'd seen on the screen. Kids don't lock doors unless they feel hunted. The LEDs in his room pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. Blue, purple, blue again. His monitors were still on, but he'd minimized everything except a single window that looked different, cleaner, almost polite. A message box. Request access. Pending. You didn't tell me that was a thing, I said. I didn't know it was, Ethan replied. His voice sounded hollow, like he'd already rehearsed saying something worse. They added it last night, after the poll. He clicked the window open. The form wasn't long. No username, no password, just questions. Calm, clinical questions. Why do you want access? What are you willing to do to keep it? Do you understand that observation is participation? At the bottom was a checkbox. I acknowledge that control may be transferred without notice. Transferred to who wasn't specified. Ethan hadn't checked it yet. They're pressuring me, he said. If I don't comply, they'll lock me out. If I'm locked out, I can't see what they're doing anymore. You think seeing it gives you control? I asked. He finally looked at me. His eyes were wet, furious, terrified. No, he said, but not seeing it means I can't warn anyone. That was when my phone rang. Jamie. I answered so fast I almost dropped it. She was whispering. I think someone's following me. Every nerve in my body went tight. Where are you? Downtown. Near the mall. I went to grab food because I couldn't sleep. Her breath came in short bursts. There's this guy. He keeps stopping when I stop, pretending to look at his phone. I could hear traffic, laughter, normal life. That made it worse. Go somewhere crowded, I said. Go into a store. Anywhere. I'm in front of she paused. A McDonald's. In Ethan's room, one of the minimized windows popped open on its own. A live stream. The camera angle was high, tilted slightly, like it was mounted on a light pole. I saw the McDonald's sign before I saw her. I didn't tell her I could see her. Jamie, I said carefully, listen to me. Do not get in your car. I wasn't planning to, she said. Why? The chat on the stream exploded. Target confirmed. Proximity locked awaiting input. A timer appeared. 60 seconds. Ethan's hands hovered uselessly over the keyboard. They're not letting me interrupt. I don't have permissions. The phone speaker crackled. He's closer now, Jamie whispered. He's smiling. The timer hit 40. I did the only thing I could think of. I opened Tor again on my phone. The site remembered me. A notification blinked at the top of the page. Request access. Accepted. I hadn't filled out the form. A new option appeared. Intervene. I tapped it. The screen changed to a single button. Divert target. My thumb hovered. Somewhere deep in my head, a voice asked a question I didn't want to answer. Divert to where? The timer hit 20. Jamie's voice broke. He just said my name. I pressed the button. The stream glitched. The chat stalled. The man on the screen stopped walking. Just froze, like someone had yanked his strings too hard. Then the interface updated. Diversion. Successful new target assigned. The camera feed switched. Different angle. Different place. A parking garage. I recognized it instantly. It was the one under Jamie's apartment building. "No," I said out loud. Ethan stared at the screen, horrified. "You didn't stop it," he whispered. "You just moved it." My phone buzzed again. "Jamie." "He's gone," she said. "He just turned around and walked away." Relief hit me so hard I almost cried. Then the livestream audio kicked in. Footsteps echoed in concrete. A door creaked open. A woman's voice said, confused, "Hello?" The chat lit up with applause, emojis, fire icons, little skulls. A username I recognized from the Discord messages typed, "Efficient play." I slammed the laptop shut again, but it didn't matter. The sound kept playing in my head. The echo, the pause, the moment where someone realized they weren't alone. My phone chimed one last time. Now you understand access. You don't remove violence, you redirect it. Outside Ethan's window, a car idled too long. Headlights off, engine running. Ethan whispered, "They know where we are." And somewhere, buried in a server I couldn't reach anymore, my name slid quietly onto a different list. Not targets, not players. Something worse. Facilitators. If you're still reading this and thinking you'd make better choices, that you'd be braver, smarter, you wouldn't. The system doesn't reward morality. It rewards participation. And once you've moved someone's fate with a tap of your finger, it never lets you pretend you didn't enjoy the power. The car outside didn't move for a long time. No headlights, no music, just the low vibration of an engine idling like it was waiting for permission to breathe. I stood at Ethan's window, pulling the curtain back a fraction at a time, the way you do when you already know you won't like what you see, but need confirmation anyway. Nothing identifiable, just a dark shape, a presence. Behind me, Ethan sat on his bed, hugging his knees, rocking slightly. His monitors were off now. He'd killed the power strip entirely, like that might erase the fact that the code existed somewhere else, alive and mutating without him. My phone buzzed again. Not Discord. A notification from Google Photos. Your memory from 1 year ago. It was a picture Jamie had taken of us at Universal Studios. Fake smiles, plastic happiness, a Minions mascot photobombing us from the side. Normal, loud, safe. I stared at it until my hand shook. Then the real message came through. Control, transfer, initiated. I didn't tap anything. I didn't consent. It didn't matter. The tour page auto-loaded, like it had been waiting for me to look away. The interface was different now. Less playful. No green glow. Just stark white text on black, like a medical chart. Session role. Facilitator status. Active. Override. Enabled. Below. That was a live feed. Not a street. Not a store. A room. Bare walls. Concrete floor. A single flickering fluorescent light. No windows. The camera angle was fixed in a corner, high enough that you could see everything, but feel like nothing could see you. A man sat in a chair in the center of the room, duct tape over his mouth, hands zip-tied behind his back, eyes wide, darting back and forth like he was trying to read the comments that weren't there. I backed away from the screen. "This isn't happening," I said, mostly to hear my own voice. "This isn't real." Ethan shook his head slowly. It is. That's the new mode. What new mode? They stopped using public spaces. Too messy. Too many variables. His voice cracked. Now they harvest. The chat opened automatically. Not spammy. Not chaotic. Structured. Phase 1. Observation. Phase 2. Input. Phase 3. Transfer. A poll appeared. Increase light. Decrease light. Introduce sound. I didn't touch anything. The vote passed anyway. The light dimmed. A man whimpered behind the tape. Just a sound. Small, human, and completely out of place in how clean the interface looked. I turned away. My phone rang again. Jamie. I answered, already bracing. I'm home, she said. I locked the door. I think I'm okay. Relief flooded me so fast my knees almost buckled. Stay there, I said. Don't open it for anyone. Not even me, unless I call first. There was a pause. Why would you say that? Because the feed changed. The room disappeared. The camera cut to a hallway I recognized immediately. Jamie's apartment building. Same ugly carpet. Same flickering emergency light near the stairwell. Same broken exit sign someone had complained about in the group chat for months. The interface updated. Transfer complete. I screamed at the screen. I didn't even realize I was screaming until my throat burned. No. You said she was safe. A message appeared in the system chat. Safety is relative. Another one followed. You diverted once. That earned trust. Trust. Like this was a workplace. Like I'd been promoted. Ethan stood up suddenly. They're mapping behavior, he said. They're learning how people react when they think they're helping. What do they want? I asked. He swallowed hard. They want someone who won't look away anymore. The feed split. Left side, Jamie's hallway. Her door at the end, closed. Right side, the man in the chair again. Still alive. Still waiting. A slider appeared between the two feeds. Resource. Allocation. Below it, a note. Attention is finite. I felt something twist in my chest that didn't feel like fear anymore. It felt like understanding. They weren't forcing choices. They were teaching priorities. My phone buzzed with a final message. You don't need to click anything. Just watch. The hallway feed showed a shadow stretch across the carpet. Slow, careful, practiced. Jamie's phone rang in my hand. She was calling me. The system chimed softly. Input detected, and that's when I realized the last, most horrifying truth of all. Control didn't mean choosing who lives or dies. It meant deciding who matters while you're watching. If there's anything left of me after I post that part, it won't be the person who walked into this thinking he could fix it. Because the system doesn't break you all at once. It just waits until you stop screaming. I answered Jamie's call without taking my eyes off the screen. Don't talk, I whispered. Just listen. On the feed, the shadow at the end of her hallway stopped moving. It flattened against the wall like it had learned how to become part of the building. Whoever it was understood timing, understood doors, understood that patience was louder than force. Jamie breathed on the other end of the line. I could hear her trying to be quiet and failing in all the ways humans fail when they're scared. The tiny hitch in her inhale, the way her fingers brushed the microphone accidentally. What's happening? She mouthed, barely audible. I didn't answer, because the interface changed again. The two feeds collapsed into one. Focus mode enabled a small note appeared beneath it, written like a helpful tip you'd see in a tutorial. Single-threaded attention improves outcome clarity. The hallway camera zoomed slightly. Not digitally, physically. Someone was adjusting it. I realized then that not every feed was passive. Some of them were held. Ethan made a sound behind me, a short, broken laugh that didn't belong to anything happy. "They don't need us anymore," he said. "This is graduation." "What do you mean?" I asked. "They've been testing empathy thresholds," he said. "How long before someone intervenes? How often they choose who they know over who they don't." He wiped his face with his sleeve. "Now they're just selecting." My phone vibrated once. A system message. Not chat. Not Discord. A push notification. "Congratulations. You've been upgraded." Below it was a new role. End user. The screen shifted again. The hallway vanished. So did the room with the man. Now it was just a list. Hundreds of names. No ages. No photos. Just timestamps and locations updating in real time. Some entries were highlighted. Some were dimmed. I scrolled without meaning to. My finger moved like it wasn't mine. Every highlighted name had a small tag next to it. Observed. Influenced. Completed. Jamie's name wasn't there. Yet. I dropped the phone. It clattered onto the carpet, but the call stayed connected. I could hear her whispering my name, confused, scared, still trusting me enough to believe I could explain this. That trust felt heavier than anything I'd carried in my life. The interface chimed softly again. A prompt appeared, simple and devastating. "Would you like to continue with personalized content?" 2 options. Yes, yes. Automated. I laughed. A sharp, ugly sound. "They don't even pretend anymore," I said. Ethan shook his head. "They don't have to. People choose convenience every time." Outside, the idling car finally moved. Not away. Closer. Headlights washed over the front of the house, cutting through the curtains like an interrogation light. The feed came back on by itself. Not Jamie's hallway. My driveway. A camera angle from somewhere across the street. The porch light flickered on. Someone walked into frame. Me. I stared at myself on the screen, phone pressed to my ear, face pale, eyes wild. The delay was less than a second. A mirror that breathed. Jamie's voice came through the speaker again, louder now. "Why are you being quiet? Please, you're scaring me." The system helpfully labeled the feed. Primary POV. Local. Another label appeared beneath it. Remote input available. I understood then. This wasn't about watching anymore. They didn't want Ethan. They didn't want random players. They wanted people already connected to the outcome. People whose hands would shake while the cursor hovered. People who would hesitate just long enough to prove the data point. The doorbell rang. On screen, I watched my own hand reach for the knob. In real life, my hand twitched. I dropped to my knees. "No," I said, not to the system, to myself. "I'm not doing this." The interface responded instantly. End users don't opt out. They disengage. The front door on the feed opened. The person outside stepped in. I didn't see their face. The camera cut before it could. Jamie screamed on the phone. Not loud, not dramatic. Just one sharp sound that meant something had finally crossed the line between almost and too late. The list refreshed. A new name appeared. Highlighted, tagged, completed. The system displayed a final message, centered and clean. "Thank you for participating. Your session has improved our model." The feeds went dark. Every screen in the room powered off at once. Silence rushed in, thick and ringing. My phone slipped from my hand. The call ended. "I'm posting this from a public library 2 towns over. I don't use my real accounts anymore. I don't check my messages. I don't answer calls from numbers I recognize. Sometimes when I walk past a cafe, or sit in a crowded place, I notice people stopping at the same time, turning their heads in the same direction, checking their phones in unison, like they're waiting for something or someone. If you take anything from this, let it be this. The most dangerous part of the internet isn't what it shows you, it's what it asks you to decide. And once you've been an end user, you never stop wondering who's watching you make the next choice. My father's funeral was live streamed without permission. The stream originated from a dark web domain called Family Feed. So, I never thought I'd be the type of person to post something like this. I always thought those r/no sleep stories were just people LARPing for karma, or YouTubers trying to get a video out with those creepy text-to-speech narrators. But I need to put this somewhere. I need to tell someone, anyone, what I saw, before it gets wiped, or worse, before they find me too. It started on a Tuesday, right after work. I work at this boring marketing agency in a shared office building, the kind with carpeted floors that smell like burnt Keurig cups and printer toner. I was zoning out at my desk, scrolling through TikTok, when I got the notification. It was from a Reddit account I didn't recognize. The message was short. You should watch your dad's funeral again. Check Family Feed. At first, I thought it was spam or some weird troll thing, but I clicked the profile and there were no posts, no comments, no karma. Just a blank profile with a user ID that looked auto-generated. Like, you ever see those usernames that look like a cat ran across the keyboard? That kind of vibe. Anyway, I didn't think too much of it until later that night. I was in bed, watching YouTube, one of those long-ass 3 a.m. compilations of Disney Park urban legends, or whatever, and the comment popped back in my head. Family Feed. That sounded almost normal, like it could be a legit streaming platform, like some Facebook Live knockoff. I googled it. Nothing. Then I tried something stupid. I remembered from a thread that Tor still worked if you downloaded the right browser and knew what you were doing. I'd gone down some rabbit holes during lockdown, but never seriously messed with the dark web. Like, I watched those deep web horror story videos like everyone else, but I knew not to be a dumbass. But this time, I was curious and grieving. My dad died 3 weeks before all this. Heart failure. We weren't close, not anymore, but I still flew back home to Kansas City for the funeral. It was small, weirdly quiet. My aunt sobbed through the whole thing, and the preacher kept mispronouncing our last name. Nothing about it felt right. I remember thinking that at the time, like there was a fog hanging over the church that wasn't weather. So yeah, I downloaded Tor, did all the VPN masking stuff, like I was Edward Snowden, and typed in Family Feed just to see if anything would come up. And yeah, something came up. It was a URL I'm not gonna repeat here. It wasn't indexed. It was one of those onion addresses, just letters and numbers, ending in .onion. Looked like nonsense. When I clicked it, it didn't open like a normal website. There was no landing page, no menu, no logo. It just immediately started playing a video. Black screen at first, then a soft chime. You know that sound when you walk into a Starbucks? That ding from the door? It sounded like that, except more hollow, like it had been recorded from the bottom of a well. Then the video faded in, and there it was, my father's funeral. Same cheap coffin, same floral arrangements, same small chapel with the Jesus mural peeling off the wall, except I wasn't in it. Neither was my mom, or my cousins, or the pastor. The room was full of strangers, dressed up like us, like cosplay level creepy. Someone who looked exactly like me was standing at the front pew, head bowed, but the posture was off. I don't slouch like that. And the skin? It looked tight, like a mannequin with makeup, like someone had printed my face out and stretched it over a skull. And then the fake pastor started to speak. I swear to God, he looked like a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic come to life. The mouth moved just a little too slowly. The voice didn't match the lips. His eyes didn't blink. I couldn't hear what he was saying at first, but then the audio cut in, all staticky. And let us remember the body as it was, before the switch, before the scanning, before the feed. I froze. My skin started crawling. Something in that sentence felt off, like a line from a script written by someone who's seen humans, but doesn't understand them. The camera panned, slowly, like an old security feed. It moved from the front pews to the casket, and my dad wasn't inside. Instead, it was a screen, a flat panel, almost like a TV, but embedded in the casket. The screen was playing his face, not a video of him, just his face, frozen, like a digital portrait. But the longer I watched, the more it started to move, like the pixels were shifting subtly. He blinked, then again. Then his mouth started to twitch, and something started leaking from the corner, either blood or static. I couldn't tell. Then the stream glitched, cut to black. Then came the chat. Yeah, this live stream had a live chat on the side, not in English. Most of it was in symbols I couldn't identify, like gibberish mixed with random fragments of code, but a few were in English, and I swear to God, this is what they said. Scan complete. Host rejected upload. Too much trauma. Re-inject failed. Viewer 382 left trace. Begin ping. He's watching. I shut my laptop. Slammed it closed so hard I think I cracked something. I didn't sleep that night. I kept pacing my apartment, checking the peephole every 10 minutes. Every creak in the hallway sounded like boots. I turned off all my lights, unplugged my Echo, flipped my phone face down, but it didn't matter. The next morning, my phone was on, and it was playing the stream again, muted but looping. My dad's fake funeral, that thing in the casket. I smashed it against the wall, didn't even think, just pure panic. It only made it worse, because a few seconds later, my iPad started ringing. No caller ID. When I picked it up, the screen was black, except for one word. Subscribe. I don't remember falling asleep. I just remember the cold. When I came to, it wasn't sunlight that woke me. It was a knock. 3 sharp taps. Then silence. Then 3 more. Not at the door. Not even the windows. From inside the wall behind my TV. I didn't move. I just listened. Because the sound wasn't wood on wood. It was something wet. Like skin slapping plaster. The sound your palm makes when it smacks a countertop. But stickier. Slower. Purposeful. Then a voice. So faint, I almost thought I imagined it. Where's your father, Nathan? No one calls me Nathan except my mom. Or used to. She stopped answering my texts a week ago. I wanted to tell myself I was hallucinating. Sleep deprivation. Stress. Classic paranoia. But when I finally got the courage to step toward the wall and press my ear against it, I heard breathing. Not mine. Not even human. Long, wet inhales. Shallow, mechanical exhales. Like someone had lungs full of water and was trying to imitate how we sound. I didn't scream. I just backed away, straight into the overturned coffee table from last night. My foot crunched glass, remnants of my phone, still shattered from when I threw it. A piece lodged into my heel, and the pain grounded me for a second, gave me enough adrenaline to act. I ran to my neighbor's apartment and pounded on their door. Nothing. No sound. No light. No barking from their dog, which always yaps at the slightest noise. Every apartment in the hall, dark, silent. Not a single floorboard creaked behind any of those walls. I sprinted back inside, locked all 3 of my deadbolts, and shoved a chair under the knob for good measure. Then I checked my laptop again. I didn't want to. I hated myself for it, but something in me needed to see if it was still there. Maybe it had all been a dream. Maybe I'd open the screen and everything would be back to normal. An ad, a glitch, just TikTok videos and emails again. But when I lifted the lid, the family feed stream was already playing. This time, there was no chapel, no funeral. The feed was inside my childhood home, the living room. Same couch, same crooked ceiling fan, same red stain on the carpet from when I dropped cranberry juice the night my parents told me they were getting divorced. The screen was shaky, like someone was holding a camera and walking. I couldn't see them, just their point of view. The video slowly panned around the room, then moved toward the hallway. My old bedroom door. It was closed. The viewer opened it, and inside was me, or something wearing my face. This time, it wasn't just a bad mask. It was perfect, down to the mole on my neck, the scar on my left eyebrow. It even had my exact posture, the way I tilt my head slightly when I'm focused, except the eyes. They weren't eyes, just holes, deep, empty sockets that stared through the screen like it knew I was watching. Then, without moving its lips, it spoke. "Why did you leave us, Nathan?" I slammed the laptop shut again, but it didn't stop. Audio started playing from inside my apartment, from my smart TV, from the Bluetooth speaker I didn't even remember connecting. Every screen, every surface. That voice. You weren't supposed to see the stream. The feed wasn't meant for you, but you watched. Then everything went dark. My power, my lights, my TV, even my watch went blank. I sat in the pitch black for maybe an hour. Then, suddenly, the power surged back, but the lights didn't come on. Just the TV. A new stream, not family feed. This one was titled, Upload, 2% complete. And it was me, sitting there, exactly how I was now. Same blood on my foot, same black hoodie, same twisted, terrified expression. Except on the stream, something was behind me. A shape in the corner, tall, wearing something like a priest's robe, but tattered, burnt on the edges, a hood covering its face, its hands. They were wrapped in what looked like hospital bracelets, hundreds of them, layered like bandages. One of the bracelets dropped to the floor. It had my father's name on it. Then another, and another. Names of people I didn't recognize, each one tagged with patient expired. I turned around instantly, but there was nothing there. Just my dark, empty apartment. But the stream continued. It kept uploading. 3%, 5%, 10%. Every percent that ticked up, the figure behind me moved closer on screen, and the text on the screen began to change. No longer uploading. It said replacing. That's when the smell hit, like rotten plastic and hair, like someone microwaved a CPR dummy filled with meat. I gagged, checked every corner, every mirror, every vent. Nothing. But the stream, now it showed me asleep. From above, like a security cam. The view was from the ceiling, in a room I didn't recognize. Gray walls, stainless steel counters, no windows, and the fake me, the one sleeping. Its chest wasn't rising. Then a second camera feed popped up in a corner window, Pie style. Feed 2, body prep. I didn't want to look, but I had to. It showed a table, fluorescent lights, a body bag. Inside was a woman, middle-aged, pale, eyes open. I couldn't breathe. It was my mom. She wasn't just dead. She was opened, like they had tried to scan her from the inside. A machine sat next to her. Something that looked like an MRI scanner fused with a meat slicer. Her torso was locked inside it. Her head was clamped in place. Wires ran from her eyes into a monitor that flashed binary code nonstop, like they were ripping data out of her brain. And above her, the same message blinked in red. Upload failed. Then, the entire screen blinked red. Every feed collapsed into one. A new message appeared. Backups initiated. Funeral override complete. And suddenly, my smart TV showed another scene. A new funeral. Same chapel. Same flowers. Same coffin. Except now, I was in it. But I wasn't still. I was screaming. Mouth stretched wide. Eyes darting around. In raw, panicked animal fear. But my body wasn't moving. I was paralyzed. Locked in. Like something had hijacked my nervous system and left me as a meat puppet, just aware enough to feel it all. Then came the guests. They filed in, quietly, their faces pixelated. All of them were holding phones, streaming me, recording me, posting hashtags like Last Look, Meat Sleep, True Family. Feed, one of them leaned down, right over my coffin, and whispered something into my ear. I couldn't hear it on the stream, but my face on screen flinched, and then the stream ended, just black. A single text notification popped up on my screen. You're scheduled for Sunday. We'll see you then. That's the day my father died, but I know what they mean now. It's my funeral, and someone already RSVP'd. I didn't leave my apartment for 3 days. Not because I thought the outside world was gone or anything dramatic like that. It was worse. The outside world was still there. Instagram stories still loading. DoorDash drivers still ringing buzzers downstairs. McDonald's ads still screaming about limited time sauces. But none of it felt real anymore. It felt like a set. Like cardboard buildings painted to look solid until you leaned too hard. Every screen I owned stayed unplugged. I wrapped my TV remote in aluminum foil like an idiot. I taped over my laptop camera. I turned my Wi-Fi off and used my phone hotspot just long enough to text a friend that I was sick. I didn't tell anyone what was happening. I didn't want to sound insane. But insanity didn't ask for permission. It started with the mail. On the second day, I heard the slot clatter. One envelope slid onto the floor. Thick paper, cream-colored, embossed, no stamp, no return address. Just my full name, spelled correctly, in the same font used on my father's obituary. I didn't open it right away. I stared at it for a full hour, sitting on the floor like a scared kid. Eventually, curiosity won. It always does. Inside was a single card, black background, white text. You are cordially invited below. That was a date. Sunday. Below that was a location, not an address. Coordinates. I typed them into Google Maps using an old phone I'd wiped years ago. The pin dropped somewhere outside Orlando, right on the edge of a theme park service road. Not the park itself, behind it. The part tourists never see. Warehouses, maintenance tunnels, cost-only buildings with fake facades and no windows. I felt my stomach turn, because my dad used to take me there every summer when I was a kid. We'd eat overpriced hot dogs, take pictures with people in foam costumes, watch fireworks that looked close enough to touch. I used to think that place was magic. The card wasn't done. At the bottom, in smaller text, live stream access granted. There was a QR code. I didn't scan it. I swear I didn't. My phone scanned it for me. The screen lit up on its own, brightness maxed, like it wanted my eyes. A countdown timer appeared. 72 hours. Already ticking. Under the timer was a list. A guest list. Names started populating in real time. Some I recognized. Old classmates. A coworker I barely spoke to. My aunt. My neighbor from 3 apartments down. Then usernames, handles, things like @sleepaccount47 and @feedwatcher and @don't blink live. Each name had a small icon next to it, a green dot. Attending. More names kept coming. I scrolled. The list didn't end. That night, I finally slept. I shouldn't have. The dream didn't feel like a dream. It felt like logging in. I was standing in a long hallway made of polished concrete. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. The air smelled sterile, like a hospital mixed with an electronics store. Doors lined both sides of the hall, each one labeled with a name. Not names like John or Sarah. Usernames, handles, email addresses. Every door had a small glass window. Inside each room was a person sitting perfectly still, staring at a screen mounted to the wall. The screen showed their own lives, birthdays, breakups, arguments, funerals, every moment they'd ever posted, liked, or recorded. A voice echoed through the hall, calm, cheerful, corporate. Consent is implied by observation. I walked past room after room until I found one labeled with my name. Inside, someone was already sitting there. It wasn't me. It looked like me, the way a reflection looks in dark glass. Close enough to fool you, wrong enough to unsettle. It turned its head slowly and smiled. They liked your father, it said. High engagement, strong emotional metrics. Families perform well. I woke up screaming. My phone was buzzing. Hundreds of notifications, not messages, tags, mentions. People were posting screenshots of a countdown timer I hadn't shared. Clips of my apartment door from angles that didn't make sense. Short videos of me sleeping, filmed from above, with captions like, "Sunday's going to be big. New host looks promising. He doesn't even know yet." I reported them, every single one. The platforms responded with the same automated message. This content does not violate our community guidelines. I tried to call the police. The dispatcher listened politely, asked me to explain again, asked if I'd been using drugs, asked if I was under a lot of stress. Then she paused and said, "Sir, are you streaming right now?" I asked her what she meant. She told me there was a live broadcast linked to my phone number. Over 10,000 viewers. Category, events. Before I could respond, the call dropped. My phone screen changed. Family feed. The interface had evolved. Clean, professional, like a Silicon Valley startup. A banner at the top read, "Host preparation in progress." Below, it was a live poll. What should he remember first? His father, his mother himself. Votes were pouring in faster than I could read. I threw the phone across the room. It didn't break. It landed face up. The poll closed. Winner, himself. The screen switched to a memory, not a video, a feeling. I was 7 years old, hiding in a bathroom during my parents' worst fight. I could hear glass breaking, my dad yelling, my mom crying. I remembered the exact pattern on the tile, the buzzing light, the way I pressed my hands over my ears and promised myself I'd forget. I hadn't thought about that moment in decades. Family Feed had it queued up like a playlist. Memory after memory started loading. Moments I never told anyone. Moments I thought were gone. Each one labeled archived. A new message appeared at the bottom of the screen. Funerals aren't for the dead. They're for the audience. Smile. Then the countdown hit 0, and the front door of my apartment unlocked itself. The door didn't swing open like in the movies. It creaked, slow, heavy, like it was tired of pretending to be a door. I stood there frozen, staring at the gap widening inch by inch, expecting someone, or something, to step through. A silhouette, a weapon, a face I recognized. Nothing came in. Instead, the hallway light outside my apartment flickered on by itself. The corridor was wrong. Too clean. Too straight. The scuff marks on the floor were gone. The dent in the drywall near the fire extinguisher, gone. Even the smell had changed. No old carpet, no stale takeout. Just that same sterile hospital electronic smell from the dream. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I didn't want to look. I looked. Live viewers. 38,412A. Comment rolled across the screen, pinned to the top. He hesitated. That's good. I stepped into the hallway. The door shut behind me with a soft, polite click. The building elevator was already open, doors spread like a mouth waiting to be fed. Inside, the mirror panel had been replaced with a screen. It showed my face, not a reflection, a delay. I watched myself blink a half second after I did. The elevator began descending without me touching a button. Floor numbers ticked past faster than they should have. 3, 2, 1. Then negatives. B1, B2, B7. The doors opened onto a space that absolutely did not exist beneath my apartment complex. It was enormous. A soundstage. Rows of cables hung from the ceiling like vines. Industrial lights beamed down onto sets built to look like places. A living room. A fast food restaurant. A school hallway. A hospital ward. All fake. All detailed enough to pass on camera. And people. Hundreds of them. Crew. They moved quietly, efficiently, wearing black shirts with a simple white logo on the back. A family tree icon made of wires. No one spoke. No one looked at me, except one man standing near a camera rig. He smiled like we were old friends. "Host," he said, clapping once. The sound echoed far too loudly. "You made it on time. That's rare." I asked him what this place was. He tilted his head, considering how to explain gravity to a dog. "Content," he said finally. "Continuity. Closure." He gestured, and a screen nearby lit up. It showed a McDonald's, the one near my old high school. Same cracked tile, same flickering menu board, same sticky floor. On the screen, a teenage version of me sat in a booth, eating fries with my dad. I remembered that day. It was one of the last times he smiled at me. The man watched my reaction carefully. "Strong numbers on nostalgia," he said. "People love a slow burn." I told him to turn it off. He didn't. Instead, the scene changed. Now it was a Starbucks in Chicago. Rain on the windows. My mom sitting alone, stirring a coffee she never drank. This was the day she decided to stop calling my dad. I staggered back. "How do you have this?" I asked. He shrugged. "You gave it to us." I screamed that I never did. That's when he laughed. "Terms of service," he said gently. "Location permissions, camera access, facial recognition. You don't read those, right?" The crew began moving faster now. Lights shifted. Cameras rolled into position. A stagehand adjusted my hoodie, tugging it straight like I was an actor hitting his mark. My phone vibrated again. Live, chat-enabled messages flooded in. "Look at him shake." This is better than last week. Don't worry, it's almost over. The man leaned close enough that I could smell mint on his breath. Sunday always tests well, he whispered. People have time to watch. They guided me, not roughly, but firmly, onto a set that looked like a church. Not the one from before. Bigger, brighter, more cinematic. The coffin at the front was open, empty. For you, the man said. But not like you think. He snapped his fingers. A massive screen descended behind the altar. It showed a live feed of the audience. Thousands of faces, some masked by usernames, some fully visible. Living rooms, bedrooms, airport lounges. A group watching together in what looked like a mall food court. All of them watching me. All of them waiting. We don't kill hosts anymore, the man said casually. Too final. Too quiet. I asked him what they did instead. He smiled wider. We keep you. The lights dimmed. The screen behind me filled with text. Host sync. Initiated. My head started to pound. Not like a headache. Like pressure. Like my thoughts were being squeezed into a narrower shape. Images flashed. My memories. Reordered. Cleaned. Edited. Moments trimmed of context. Stitched together into something watchable. I dropped to my knees. The chat exploded. Yes, there it is. Don't look away. I felt something slip. Not physically, internally. Like a door I didn't know existed had been forced open. And for the first time since this began, I couldn't tell which thoughts were mine anymore. The man stepped back, satisfied. Congratulations, he said. You're trending. The screen cut to black. A final message appeared. Part 5 will be live. And somewhere deep inside my head, something started rehearsing lines I didn't remember writing. If you're still here when I finish this, I need you to understand something. They're not just watching me now. They're watching who stays. I don't know how long I was unconscious. Time stopped behaving normally after the sync started. Seconds stretched. Hours collapsed. My thoughts felt pre-recorded, like I was remembering things that hadn't happened yet. When my eyes opened, I wasn't on the stage anymore. I was somewhere smaller, quieter. A room designed to look comforting. Soft yellow lights. A couch. Framed photos on the walls. One of those fake plants you see in therapist offices. Everything screamed safe in the same way a children's hospital does. Too curated, too intentional. A camera sat directly across from me. Red light on. Live. I tried to move and realized I was sitting perfectly upright, hands folded in my lap, without remembering putting them there. My body felt cooperative in a way that terrified me more than pain ever could. A monitor slid down from the ceiling. Not a feed of me. A feed of you. Not you specifically. The audience. People watching from bedrooms, buses, break rooms. I could see their faces now, clearer than before. Some leaned closer to their screens. Some covered their mouths. Some were smiling. In the corner of the screen was a counter. Current viewers, 91,004. A soft chime played, the same one from the beginning. The Starbucks door sound. The voice came back. Not the man's this time. Something smoother, genderless, corporate. Welcome to the conclusion. My mouth moved before I decided to speak. Hi, I said. The chat exploded. He said it. Look at his eyes. This is better than the funeral. I tried to stop talking. I couldn't. Words poured out of me, calm and measured, like I was hosting a podcast. I used to think memories were private, I heard myself say. Turns out, they're just unmonetized. The screen behind the camera split. On one side, clips from my life, edited cleanly, smoothed, color graded. every ugly moment trimmed into something watchable. On the other side, new footage. A hospital hallway I didn't recognize. A waiting room. A vending machine humming softly. I felt a pressure in my chest. Not pain, but certainty. "That's tomorrow," I said. The chat scrolled faster. The voice continued. "Host has reached acceptance phase." I finally managed to scream. It came out wrong. Flat. Muted. Like a sound effect. The room changed. Walls slid away. The comforting set peeled back like cardboard. Behind it was something vast and dark. Rows upon rows of servers stacked to the ceiling, blinking with soft white lights. Each one hummed at a slightly different pitch, creating a droning chord that made my teeth ache. Each server had a name, not printed, engraved. Names of people. Names I'd seen in the guest list. Names I recognized from the chat. Some still active. Some grayed out. I understood then. They weren't storing videos. They were storing perspectives. Every server was a point of view. A life reduced to watchable angles. Fear catalogued. Love trimmed. Death queued. "You don't replace us," I whispered. "You archive us." The voice didn't deny it. "We preserve engagement." The man from before stepped into view, clapping softly again. "You did great," he said. "Best host we've had this quarter." I asked him what happened after the stream ended. He looked genuinely confused. "Ended?" he repeated, then smiled. "Oh no, this is the end." He gestured to the surface. "Out there, people die once. In here, you loop." My vision blurred as something slid into place behind my eyes. Not physically, conceptually, like a filter snapping on. Suddenly, I could feel the viewers, not emotionally, statistically. I could sense when attention dipped, when fear spiked, when nostalgia hit harder than terror. I understood pacing, timing, when to pause, when to smile. The counter jumped. 100, 2,000, 889. The man leaned close. "Your father didn't take," he said quietly. "Too much resistance. But you open up beautifully." I thought of my dad, not as a person, as content. I felt something in me flatten. A final message appeared on the screen behind the camera. "Host locked." The chat slowed. New text appeared, pinned at the top. "Thank you for watching." The room dimmed. The servers hummed louder. The camera zoomed in on my face. I smiled, because that's what performed best. And here's the part I need you to understand. If you're still reading this, if you made it all the way here, I'm not posting this as a warning. I'm posting it because they let me. Because every view counts as consent. Because every second you imagine this happening makes the feed stronger. The counter is still going up. And somewhere, right now, a camera is turning towards someone who hasn't noticed it yet. Maybe someone scrolling. Maybe someone reading. Maybe someone who thinks they're safe. Because this is just a story. The stream doesn't end. It just switches hosts. And you've been watching for a very long time.